Hello YouTube friends, Dr. Teresa here again, and today I'm going to talk about using Copepods as a supplemental food in a dwarf seahorse tank. Now I have purchased Copepods in the past from eBay, also from Algae Barn. I think the Poseidon's Feast is the name of the one offering they have that seems to be well liked by people, and both were good cultures. I did try culturing them in a big 5-gallon bucket that I kept in my greenhouse a couple of years ago, and that worked out very well. But one summer it was super hot and it got too hot for the Copepods, so they did not survive. I since then have started up a culture which has been going for more than a year in a 1-gallon jar that I just keep in my windowsill. I load the jar up with old aquarium water that I used from a change when I'm swapping out fresh water in the aquarium, and that rich nitrate and waste in that water makes perfect breeding ground for algae that grows in the jar, and that acts as food for the Copepods. I basically just let the Copepods sit there. I don't really do anything special other than top off the water level occasionally, and then every now and then I will swap out some of the water with some other water from the aquarium so that that nutrient level that helps the algae grow stays elevated. So you can see here I am pulling out a little Copepod house, and this is just a small little one. I actually bought 2 from eBay, pretty inexpensive. They're working pretty well. I use the Copepod houses instead of rocks, so I don't have to worry about the seahorses accidentally cutting themselves or getting abrasions by crawling over the rocks trying to get to the Copepods. So when I do a big water change once a week, I take out the Copepod house, and then you can see I put a little cup underneath to catch the water. And then I put it in my jar, and I pull out the other house that's in the jar. So essentially one Copepod house stays in the jar of Copepod culture for a week. The other one goes into the aquarium. In this way, I'm constantly resupplying the aquarium with Copepods. Now, the Copepods are only a supplement. They are not the main food. There's no way that I could produce enough Copepods to keep up with 30 dwarf seahorses. So their main diet is newly hatched brine shrimp or enriched brine shrimp. I do have algae growing on the back wall, you can see here, and the Copepods do go in there and they crawl around in there, and they're even reproducing to a degree, and you'll be able to see occasionally the dwarf seahorses hanging on the back of the wall because they're hunting for Copepods and even plucking them right out of there, out of that algae. So that's basically my care for my Copepod culture. It's not a lot of work. It is self-sustaining. My main care for it is just topping off with fresh water occasionally that doesn't have salt. And then every now and then I'll add another dose of aquarium water that I just pulled out from a water change, and that's been sustaining itself very well for well over a year. If you have any other questions about keeping dwarf seahorses, I'd love to hear them and make a video on them. Thanks so much for watching, and take care.